This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, two Dunedin artists have coordinated an exhibition aimed at getting men talking about mental health issues. The COVID-19 lockdown earlier this year had an unexpected effect on a Dunedin business. And people looking after New Zealand's wild Kiwi population could be in for a significant boost. Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Melissa Bartanaho. An exhibition looking at men's issues around mental health has just opened at Dunedin's Community Gallery. The two men behind the show say mental health is one issue males are still scared to talk about.
Bringing issues into the light.
The main idea behind putting it on was that it would help raise awareness and initiate a fresh dialogue on mental health.
A series of events are being held in Dunedin's Community Gallery to encourage men to open up about mental health issues.
This show proves that it affects so many different people in so many different ways, and that it is normal, that it is okay.
Call and Response is a multi-art form exhibition which seeks to create a safe space for creative expression. Organisers say it's clear that men struggle more than women with the stigma around admitting a mental health issue.
They're trying to erase toxic masculinity or reducing toxic masculinity by showing that creative expression is an incredibly valid way of release, expressing yourself, getting whatever's going on upstairs out, not even into the world, but even if it's in your own private space, just getting it out and off your chest.
This exhibition is open to anyone who wishes to submit a piece of art with the focus clearly on men's mental health. The co-curators say this is the first time this event has been run and comes from a desire to encourage men to talk about mental health.
We'd like to keep working on this, and it's not just, we're not just going to have this event and fix everything. So we are going to need to keep talking about it, and hopefully, we can do some positive change and maybe continue the initiative that we've started with this.
Organisers say a percentage of the proceeds from the sale of works will be donated to Life Matters Suicide Prevention Trust, along with koha or donations taken from the shows.
Saturday at 5 o'clock we have Claire Rye, who is running an art therapy workshop, and she's from Dunedin Stopping Violence and also studying at Whitecliffe College of Art.
There's an opening night on Friday, September 18th, and the exhibition runs through the weekend. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Security camera footage has emerged of roofing iron narrowly missing a pedestrian in South Dunedin. Strong winds on Wednesday lifted a roof from a fire-damaged building on King Edward Street. The security footage shows a pedestrian narrowly avoiding being hit by the piece of roof. Dunedin City Council staff issued a dangerous building notice to the owner of the building following a fire last month. Council staff visited the building on Wednesday to ensure any unsecured material was removed, and they say now that they believe the roof is safe and secure. The COVID-19 lockdown earlier this year had an unexpected effect on a Dunedin business. Dunedin oats manufacturer Harroway's noticed a marked increase in sales and is now giving back to the community.
Reaping what they've sown and sharing the cream of their crop with those in need.
Clearly times are tough at the moment, and very much at a board and management level we felt there was a real opportunity for us to give back and really help those in the south, because we're a very proud southern company.
Over the next 6 months, Harroway's plans to give more than 100,000 servings or 5,000 kilograms of oats to the Salvation Army for their food banks in Nelson, Christchurch, Timaru, Dunedin and Invercargill.
And the initiative is really all about locals helping locals, so we're very much a proud oat company in the south.
The Salvation Army is dealing with a 300% increase in food parcel demand as people struggle with the continuing economic fallout from COVID-19. Haraway's marketing manager Peter Cox says they're not just making a one-off donation to the Salvation Army.
We're looking at that over the next 6 months, so it's very much about a sustained level of support over 6 months.
Statistics New Zealand figures released yesterday show the country is officially in recession. But Haraway's says they're still positive and believe they'll be trading well through the rest of the year. In Dunedin, the South Today.
A Dunedin pizza restaurant has placed a temporary ban on all customers from Auckland over fears about COVID-19. A couple on a South Island road trip say they were not allowed inside Biggie's Pizza for a drink once they admitted being from Auckland. The Stewart Street pizza restaurant has been bombarded with fake reviews and negative comments on social media after turning away an Auckland couple. The disgruntled would-be diner and her partner were left shocked and angry by the blanket refusal, saying they had no links to any COVID cases and don't pose a health risk. Biggie's owner Tracy Millard says the ban on Auckland customers is about protecting people in the midst of a pandemic. The government is promising $20 million from the Jobs for Nature Fund will go to conserving New Zealand's kiwi, after scientists say numbers of kiwi are declining in the wild.
The wild brothers and sisters of this kiwi being admired by Conservation Minister Eugenie Sage at Dunedin's Orokonui Eco Sanctuary last year are to receive a funding boost. At a Queenstown hui on Kiwi yesterday, Sage announced that almost $20 million from the Jobs for Nature Fund will be spent on predator control to help save kiwi across New Zealand.
There used to be millions of birds in New Zealand, now there are only 70,000. We have a target of rebuilding the population to 100,000 by 2030. There are community groups, around 100, all around Aotearoa, that are working really hard to control predators, to keep kiwi safe and to increase their chances of recovering.
Scientists say the number of wild kiwi is declining, with about 27 disappearing from the population each week. And Sage is hoping the public will get behind the program and also control their dogs, as a loose dog can be responsible for the deaths of dozens of these vulnerable birds.
New Zealanders can do their part by keeping their dogs on a lead and assisting with these community groups.
She says rebuilding their numbers by 2% a year to 100,000 birds by 2030 is achievable, with several kiwi restoration programs already being considered a success.
I'm inspired by the success stories, like with Roe, no Kurito, with the Haas Tokueka, brought back from the edge of extinction, really sustained effort through Operation Nest Egg, and those populations are increasing. Where we do the control, where there is predator control, kiwi populations have increased.
The government has allocated over $1 billion for the Jobs for Nature Fund, aiming at creating about 2,000 jobs throughout the country over the next few years in predator control work, ecological restoration and improvements to tracks and huts. In Queenstown, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today. Ashburton Airport takes a trip back in time with several historic World War II aircraft, and Invercargill Public Library continues to celebrate Te Wiki o Te Reo Māori Language Week, so see you after the break.
Hi, Al Campbell Menswear. We're back in George Street on the corner of Hanover Street. Come and check out our big store. It's a big space full of bargains. Now look at these shirts. There's shirts for everybody here. Look at these merino pullovers, stacks of moleskins, literally tons of trousers. Check out these big racks of sports jackets. Beautiful.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So come and check out Alex Campbell Menswear. We're back on George Street in the old ANZ building.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Welcome back. Ashburton Airport was buzzing with several historic World War II aircraft last weekend. One of the planes was a Russian fighter plane, capable of flying at a top speed of 600 kilometres per hour and offering 20-minute flights to the public.
This World War II Russian fighter plane was giving flights to the public in Ashburton last weekend. Buying the Yak 3 was a spur-of-the-moment decision by Blenheim man Graham Frew, whose day job has been flying Boeing 787 Dreamliners for Air New Zealand.
Crazy actually, yeah. It was one of those I wish, I wonder, why not moments, and I just made it work. I couldn't afford it. I bought it as a project and had it restored in Blenheim over a period of time, and I've been figuring out how to try and pay for it ever since.
Frew's flying trips across the South Island often see him stopping in Ashburton for refuelling, as the plane can go through a whole tank in just 90 minutes. He says the support from local aviation enthusiasts was what motivated him to insert a passenger seat into the aircraft and offer 20-minute trips in the plane.
We've got a great aviation museum out here at Ashburton Airfield. So we hatched a plan mid-lockdown to come down and do some flights in the aeroplane. We put a back seat in it so that we can take people for joyrides, and we had 4 very keen gentlemen wanted to go and experience what it's like to fly in a V-12 fighter plane with 1,250 horsepower up front.
With a cruising speed of more than 400 kilometres per hour, a 20-minute ride can take in a lot of countryside, or people can choose a more stomach-churning experience.
If the customers want to experience aerobatics, which is going upside down, it's like the world's best roller coaster ride, then we're certainly up for doing that and showing them, and most people will give it a try. We're not into trying to scare people or make them go green. We just want them to enjoy the experience of sitting behind a V12 engine going really fast and maybe upside down.
Other World War II aircraft on display at Ashburton over the weekend included this locally owned Tiger Moth. In Ashburton, the South Today.
Māori culture and customs, as well as the spoken word, are being celebrated in Invercargill this week. A display of whakaaro, or traditional Māori carving, took centre stage at the city's public library earlier this week.
Greg Hawkomo has kindly been given the week off from his day job. Instead, he's at the Invercargill Public Library, working on this carving of Tāne in his quest for the 3 baskets of knowledge.
The carving itself talks about Tāne and how he went up to ascended the 12 heavens and got Ki Te Wama.
Hawkomo started carving in an access course right after he left high school, and says it's an important skill for Māori to retain.
It is really important that it's retained in our culture because it's who we are, how we came to be.
The carving is just one part of Māori Language Week celebrations at the library, and he says it's not just te reo, but also Māori culture and practice, which needs to be celebrated.
I mean to say Māori, to me personally, is one of the best cultures in the world. We've achieved a lot, we've come a very long way, and having not just te reo Māori celebrated, but tikanga Māori as well is extremely important.
The wooden carving is expected to take 4 weeks to complete and will be displayed on the wall of the library once it's completed. And in Invercargill, the South Today.
After the break on the South Today, it's final time for Dunedin Club Rugby in this week's edition of ODT Rugby Chat with Paul Dwyer. And we see what the weather has in store for us moving into the weekend. So see you after the break.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Step into Shop on Carrot and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
Ah, TV, our favourite babysitter. But it can be tough keeping up with what our tamariki are watching. Luckily, the Broadcasting Standards Authority has made some smart changes to the classification labels. Ooh! Plus changes to the time of day certain rated shows will air and awesome new parental lock features, meaning your babysitter's job is safe. Find out more at safeviewing.co.nz.
Hi, Al Campbell Menswear. We're back in George Street on the corner of Hanover Street. Come and check out our big store. It's a big space full of bargains. Now look at these shirts. There's shirts for everybody here. Look at these merino pullovers, stacks of moleskins, literally tons of trousers. Check out these big racks of sports jackets. Beautiful.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So come and check out Alex Campbell Menswear. We're back on George Street in the old ANZ building.
Thanks for staying with us. Dunedin Club Rugby comes to the end of its season this weekend. In this week's ODT Rugby Chat, Paul Dwyer talks with the coaches of the two teams vying for the Supreme title on Saturday.
But it's time to talk some sense now. So I've got David Hunter, the coach of Tyree, and I've got Peter McIntyre, the super coach from Varsity. So welcome along, lads. Cool. Look, boys, what have you made of the season? One round. The games count every week. David, you've been around this thing for a long time. Do you like this format?
Yeah, I do. You know, you got one crack. You know, when you're playing them twice, if things don't go well, you've got a second dip. But it's been a lot on every game, and if you have a look result-wise, goodness me, I mean, how many one-point games have we had? I've lost count.
Well, I looked at one stage halfway, but more than halfway through the season, and you had 108 points for and 107 points against.
Yeah, that'd be right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in that respect, I think the intensity of games has been really, really good, and yeah, the short, sharp season suits a lot of people, so it might be time.
What about you, mate? So the top 6 thing. What I mean, so David's talked about the smaller season, but what about how does the top 6 gone? I mean, you guys have gone from lucky to make the top 6, and now you're the top qualifier and going into the final.
Yeah, look, as David said, every game counts and it's meaningful, and really, you know, every game's a test match, and you know, I think that's good for players, and I think ultimately, hopefully, that's good for Otago rugby as well. But yeah, it's top 6. I think works really well. It means more clubs are involved, but potentially they could have even had a top 8 and had you know, quarters from there, just keeping those clubs involved. But look, it was always going to be a difficult season, and ultimately, I think most clubs can be pretty pleased with how the season's rolled. You know, most teams have been, well, all teams have been competitive. It's been great.
Yeah, well, even, let's be honest, Zingaree bottom of the pile, but Zingaree have been competitive as well. So look, I haven't seen such a competitive for a long time. So, mate, talk me through your semi-final. I covered that game. Like, I felt you guys were always the better team, but you struggled in the first half with your accuracy, but that certainly improved in the second half, and I think you were quite comfortable in the end of that game.
Oh, it was only last 10 minutes, Paul, to be fair. I sort of had the feeling we would finish stronger. You know, Harbour are a big team, and we thought they would tire a wee bit at the end. We had a wee bit on our bench to offer, and the guys that came out offered a lot, which was handy. Look, you're never sure in sudden death. I mean, the way our season's gone, it's who knows what was going to happen, but we've made, outside of the Southern game, a good habit of nicking close games, and you know, up until about 70 minutes it was heading that way again, but it's actually just quite a relief to finish off and not go to that last.
So that's all from us today, and we'll be back with you again hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
And full coverage of the final between Tahiti and University at the Forsyth Bar Stadium will be live from 3 p.m. this Saturday on the ODT website. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. 2 Dunedin artists have coordinated an exhibition at the Community Gallery aimed at getting men talking about mental health issues. The COVID-19 lockdown earlier this year had an unexpected effect on a Dunedin business, allowing it to share product with those in need. And people looking after New Zealand's wild Kiwi population could be in for a significant boost following a visit from the Conservation Minister. And now look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Hayden Meikle. What have you got for us?
Kia ora Mal. Well, we've got plenty of good stuff. It's a Saturday paper tomorrow, of course, so the big day of the week. So one of our big yarns tomorrow is about dental school and the long waits there now as a result of COVID-19, of course, and the redevelopment of the dental school. Some people reporting up to 2 years for an initial assessment. So got a sore tooth, want to utilise the dental school to be seen, as of course so many people in Dunedin and surrounds do. Up to a 2-year wait. So I'm looking forward to reading more of that story. Our reporter Grant Miller is working on that as we speak. And I think that'll be very well read. There'll be a lot of interest from people.
Gosh, that is a really significant wait in time.
Yeah, it is. Yep. Yeah. Huge impact on people, and of course, our dental health in this country hasn't been great. We need to make it better.
Especially like paediatrics, so like it could have severe long-term effects on the development of a child.
Absolutely. Now, on another note, trivial note, I suppose, but a story that's gone gangbusters today online, and we'll be reading about it in tomorrow's paper as well. The Auckland couple denied entry to a pizzeria in Dunedin.
It's all over social media.
Very interesting. The restaurant. Standing by their stance, the couple came from Auckland. They're very concerned about the spread of COVID-19, and I think they mentioned perhaps attitude as well as COVID was a factor. So a really interesting story. Another one, Dunedin dog numbers are up. It seems like during lockdown people decided they wanted to get a little pooch for a friend. There are now 18,190 dogs in this city, Mel, so it's a lot of droppings every week. So here's hoping they get picked up.
Yeah, definitely.
And club rugby, as we've seen, it's the big Dunedin club rugby final this weekend. I can't show my bias, so I'll just say go Tyree and leave it at that. Should be an interesting game.
Wonderful. And you can catch all of that in tomorrow's ODT. And now it's time for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Beginning with the southern view, the Middlemarch Constable receiving a defibrillator thanks to Otago Racing Club. And looking at the situation, southwesterly airflow will ease this weekend as an anticyclone moves across the Tasman Sea towards the North Island. This should bring mostly fine weather to the southern districts, although temperatures will remain cool. Starting at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport are in for cloudy skies and 14 degrees. Moving to the northeast, sunshine and some cloud here, 14 degrees in Blenheim and 16 in Nelson. Down to Canterbury, sunshine and some cloud for the region with 13 degrees in Kaikoura, Christchurch and Ashburton. To the southern towns, you can expect decreasing southwesterlies and skies clearing with 12 degrees in the Catlins, Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore. In central Otago, expect moderate southwesterlies and the skies are set to clear in this region too. Wanaka heads for 14, 1 degree cooler in Queenstown on 13, Alexandra is due for 15 with decreasing southwesterlies in Te Anau and a high of 11 degrees. To the northern towns on the coast, Timaru and Oamaru, moderate southwesterlies and fine weather for you both. Timaru reaches 14 and Oamaru 13. Inland Twizel and Amarama, you're looking at moderate southwesterlies, fine weather and a high of 14. In Dunedin, cloudy tonight with fresh breezy southwesterlies and an overnight low of 6. Cloudy with a few light showers at times tomorrow but mostly dry. Cold with fresh gusty southwesterlies, becoming fine tomorrow night and winds easing, looking at a high of 12 and a low of 2. And it's mostly fine and sunny on Sunday with northeasterlies developing. Cold temperatures, still looking at a high of 13 though and a low of 5. And in Invercargill, showers and gusty southwesterlies tonight with an overnight low of 5. Showers clearing during the day tomorrow but remaining mostly cloudy and cold with strong west to southwest winds easing slowly, a high of 9 and a low of 4. And it's fine on Sunday with sunny periods with some cloud, moderate to fresh cool westerlies, looking at a high of 12 and a low of 5. And that's all from the South Today team for this Friday and indeed for the week. Have a great evening and weekend. Remember, for the latest news from the southern regions, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Ka kite ono.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.